All right, welcome back, guys. We have Tyra versus Park just wrapped up. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the fight card predictions. We're going to run through it bottom to top. If you guys want to skip some of the fights looking on later, I might actually do timestamps for once, which would be kind of cool. Honestly, all in all, people were saying this is a really good fight night for, 8 out of 10 fight night. I thought this was a very good fight night. A lot of the fights really delivered. However, a lot of the time I found myself half-assed watching because there wasn't really anybody I cared to watch too much in this this fight night, if that makes sense. It was yeah, a lot of the fights were there were some crazy wars on this fight night, and I'm sure you guys have watched other YouTube videos and other MMA channels talking about how crazy they were, and we'll get to that. But for me, those fights were such good fights. But if they were on a card with a couple really big names that I was looking forward to seeing as well, whatever, a title fight or something like that, it would have made it even that much better. I just found there wasn't a lot of fights that I was invested in, if that made sense. There was the Bashie fight I obviously want to see because he's a prospect. Obviously the main event was good. Co-main event, really good fighters, really good fight, crazy fight, which we'll get into. But I wasn't oh, I gotta find out who wins this fight, if that makes sense. Let me know how you guys feel, but that's kind of how I felt with this one. And yeah, we got a new camera set up, so I'm really stoked on that. I'm gonna hold the fuzzy mic for all the MMA videos, even though we're not using it anymore. We got a new mic on the way, so. But yeah, let's get down to the bottom of the card and we'll kind of run through it. There's some interesting fights here. I'm gonna move this up to the top. We got Pierre Rodriguez versus Ketlin Souza. I didn't really watch too much of this fight, to be honest. I know that's bad on my part, but it is what it is. I don't know. It was, yeah. We're just gonna skip it, honestly. Pierre Rodriguez won. I think I picked Ketlin Souza to win that one. We got the next fight up here. This was actually a fight that I was somewhat interested in watching, just because Rafael Esteban has beat some of the good guys in the flyweight division. However, this dude has a weight missing problem. He's missed weight, I think, 2 times already in the UFC, and he's had only 3 fights in the UFC, something like that. I might be a little bit off on my numbers, but I know he's missed weight at least twice, and he missed weight by 5 pounds. People were oh, he only missed weight by 4 pounds. That's 126. He was 130, easily 130. He's big for the division. That's part of the reason why his fighting style works. He's very good all around. He's good grappling. He's got good striking. He's got pretty good cardio. He's not a bad fighter. But part of the reason he's not amazing. Somebody Alone Kavanaugh or somebody else you see really high level striking skills out of or whatever. He's just very good all around. He's not even mid all around. He's very good all around, but he's really big for the division, which is why he has success against a lot of guys that are also very good all around. I think if he was similar size to Felipe Burns, it would have been an even closer fight. Felipe Burns did really good in the stand-up, did really good in the grappling with him. For the most part, it was just Esteban, Rafael Esteban is just a little bit bigger than him, a little bit stronger than him. You could see when they were, and maybe a little bit more technical, but not an insane amount. But you could see when they were striking, it was kind of like when we watch, Oliveira, whatever, the guy at 135. Why can't I think of his name? He just fought last week, but guy at 135 that's absolutely huge from Brazil. And he just walks people down with not a lot of technique and just throws the fucking kitchen sink at them, but he's huge for the weight class, so he kind of just disregards anything they have to throw back. It's kind of like that, but with a lot more technique. He's not too worried about what Felipe Burns is going to hit him with, Boons is going to hit him with, because he's just bigger, stronger, and he's able to take these shots. And he's able to outmuscle people into grappling a little bit. He's very good, though, but he needs to go up a weight class, or he needs to really get some nutrition help because he can't keep missing weight by this much. I believe he's I think we can click on it and we'll see, but I think he's 5'8". No, doesn't tell me. Okay. Anyways, I believe he's 5'8" for the division, which is very big for flyweight. And he's not skinny. You look at Felipe Burns, they're similar height, but Felipe Burns is he's not near as thick as Rafael Esteban. Anyways, good fight. Rafael Esteban, he won pretty much the majority of the fight in all areas. The striking, he was getting a little bit better than Felipe Burns, but Felipe Burns was looking good in the striking, honestly. he just didn't have anything that, you know, could make Rafael Esteban respect him. And then in the grappling, Rafael Esteban did a really good job of taking him down. Didn't really do any damage on the ground. And Felipe Boons was looking for submissions, which he did a good job of. He had a buggy choke in the second round, but like, for real, like, it's hard to submit somebody with a buggy choke. So it was kind of just this position where, like, he was just, you know, trying to avoid damage and look like he's, you know, not look like he's, because buggy chokes are effective, but like look like he's looking for an active submission and stuff like that. Felipe Boons did a good job of scrambling as well, and he made it a decently, like, a closer fight than it looks on paper. Like 38 to 128 is, you know, looks like a complete blowout, but it wasn't. But Rafael Esteban definitely won. But he's got to make weight for the next fight. Otherwise, like, I don't even know if he should get another fight in flyweight because he's missed weight twice, and that was a bad miss. Up next, we got Austin Bashie versus John Yanis. I mean, Austin Bashie, again, he lost his last fight, but he's still a very good prospect. He's still a very good fighter. He's very athletic. He's got good background, combat background, and he's got decent striking. He's got good submissions. He's got good grappling. He's fighting a guy that shouldn't be in the UFC. His opponent fell out, and I think this guy filled in on like a couple days' notice. I mean, Bashie basically just like... how long did the fight even last? Did you tell me? Yeah, okay. The fight lasted like a minute and a half. Honestly, you know, Bashie's just way better than this guy, and he was gonna win, and he did exactly what he came out of the first round and subbed him with a rear naked choke. So good win for Bashie. I mean, he took no damage, and he was training to fight a harder opponent. So it would be sick to see him come back and have a fight in the next like 2 months or so. Stay active, because like, he didn't take any damage, so might as well stay active. Next up, we got Nick Klein versus Andre Pulev. This was a good fight. This was an entertaining fight. People are, well, not people. I watched MMA Guru's video on this, you know, fight card breakdown, saying Nick Klein kind of quit and gave up, which you could say. And yeah, he ate a massive body shot in the second round. But the way he came out in that first round was exactly how he had to come out to win this fight. Like, he came out and just put it on Andre Pulev right away, looking for grappling, landing big shots up against the cage. And I thought he could have got him out of there in the first round, like the way it was looking. Eventually, he ended up, believe he ended up on his back and controlled him all around, looking for submissions. But really, really good round for Nick Klein. He hit him some really big shots, some good ground and pound. Andre Pulev, he is gritty. Like, I didn't really think about it that much in his last fight, because he was fighting Chris Duncan, and I was like, that's who it was. I've forgotten the predictions who he fought, but it looked like he was just letting himself get beat up, like, because he just was scared to throw with Chris Duncan, which is, you know, fair. Chris Duncan is he's a monster, but yeah, he showed more grit than I thought. He fought out of positions against Nick Klein, but Nick Klein doesn't have like much for him in the stand-up at all. Chris Duncan is a way better striker, not way better striker than Andre Pulev, but a better, more creative striker than Andre Pulev, and he has a lot of power. Whereas Andre Pulev was considerably taller. I wouldn't say like much stronger, but considerably taller than Nick Klein, and definitely a way better striker. So when he was able to, you know, start on the feet in the second round and stop some of the takedowns that Nick Klein was going for, Nick Klein didn't have much for him on the feet, and he basically just pieced him the fuck up and smoked him with a body shot, dropped him, and then TKO'd him. So good win from Andre Pulev. His striking is good, but I don't think it's as hyped up as people say it is. And he doesn't have much in terms of other game. Like, his grappling defense is pretty good against levels like Nick Klein and other people like that, but it's not going to hold up against the top of the division. His actual striking in general, again, it's pretty good. It's definitely better than a lot of people in the division, but it's not going to hold up against the top of the division. So he's got some work to do, but it was a good fight and a good win. All right, Rodolfo Vera versus Treschungor. I don't know why I won't let somebody like trick me into thinking that Treschungor was actually half decent. I talked about it in the predictions. It was like, I really never thought he was that good on tough, but like, you know, he's not bad. Like, he's a pretty like okay fighter. Dude, he's not. Like, he's not. He's absolutely not. I think he should be cut. I don't think he's, maybe I'm going too hard, but I really don't think he's a good fighter. I think it was, again, another MMA Guru or something video like that I watched leading into the predictions, and they were saying like, he's not that bad. Like, he's got talent. Maybe it was like the weighing in podcast or something. He's got talent. I really don't think he's got talent. Like, I really don't think, as an athlete, as a fighter, mindset wise, I don't think he has that much talent. And I remember watching him on the tough season, thinking like, dude, this guy's mindset is awful. Like, he's not pushing himself. His athletic ability is very, very minimal, and he makes awful decisions in fights. He's flat-footed. He's got crazy bunions, by the way. But he's just walking on his heels, plodding around, and like, look at it. He's like this, bro. He's not very athletic. He's not a great striker. He's not. I don't know. I got hyped up and I got talked into thinking he was actually like, maybe mid, but I really don't think he's that good. Unfortunately, I think that's a little bit harsh on my part, but I really don't think he's good. Mindset wise, fight IQ wise, technique wise, like, no, he's not great. Anyways, Rodolfo Vera kind of just took it to him the whole fight, and Treschungor literally did nothing to try to win the fight other than stop takedowns, which again is not going to help you win a fight. It shows a lack of fight IQ, fight urgency. He's kind of like Torrance Finney, like that little like chunker, like lower level, but without the talent, where he's not really looking to like win a fight. Like Torrance Finney's actually like, he might have the most boring fight ever, but at least he's like skilled, like technique wise. Treschungor isn't really skilled technique wise, and he's not really looking to win the fight. Like he's just like there. Anyways, Rodolfo Vera looked good. He was getting the better of Treschungor in striking even somehow, which is crazy. With literally like minimal striking, like he's basically just throwing a jab to the head, jab to the body, and Treschungor was not doing much back, which is where the area he should have been doing, a lot. He did a good job of stopping all the takedowns, but like just defending a takedown and doing nothing after isn't going to get you anywhere. So Rodolfo Vera got the win, as he should. Up next, Nathan Fletcher versus Nakamura. This was a good fight. Unfortunate for Nathan Fletcher because this fight should have been more competitive than it was, to be honest. But really, really, really sick KO from Nakamura. I mean, we talk about this guy as not having a lot of, well, we don't talk about him as having a lot of striking. We just haven't seen his striking. We think of him more as like he's this wrestling prodigy, and his grappling or his striking isn't like, super high level. And not necessarily that this fight showed that he has super high level striking, but he does have good striking. And basically, I mean, if you guys didn't see this fight, I'm sure most of you guys saw this fight, but right out the bat, they're coming forward at each other, basically just gauging distance. Nathan Fletcher's trying to close the distance a bit, and Nakamura's like, kind of maybe thinking about timing a takedown, whatever. They're in an open stance because I believe Nakamura is southpaw. I believe it's him, yeah, because he threw the left body kick. So yeah, Nakamura is southpaw. Just how he fights, he's in the open stance. And he just hits Nathan Fletcher with the most beautifully, perfectly placed body kick. Like I don't know the name for it, like the Japanese name for it, but basically where you blast somebody with a kick with just the ball of your foot, the toes. It's like what Yuki Yosa does, what a lot of like the guys like Tetsuya Tyra does. A lot of the Japanese fighter is in One Championship do, like Nadaka and stuff like that. They do a lot of kicks with the toes, right? Basically, which a lot of people in North America and other areas other than basically Japan don't kick like that because first of all it fucking sucks and you're probably gonna break your feet. Like most of the time you have to really like condition your toes, like first of all to flex up into a ball like that so you don't actually break your toe, but also just condition them for like that. Yuki Yosa does them like to the people's legs. I was actually, when I was sparring after watching some Yuki Yosa fights, I started implementing these, and I actually started implementing this body kick with the toes. Whereas in the past I used to like just throw it like just not with my toes bent, with my foot. And a lot of times like you catch a elbow to the top of your foot, which absolutely fucking hurts if you can't sneak it under there to hit the liver. But I don't think like bashing your toes off somebody's elbow is gonna make it any better either. But there's one thing to be said: the amount of damage that you cause when you are able to get those like the ball of that foot into that liver is significantly more than if you just slam like your foot or like your shin into that liver, just because it stabs so deep. It's like basically like you see like Rainer de Ridder's with his knee, Rainer de Ridder with his knees, like that southpaw knee to the liver. It's basically like doing that, but with way more force and a sharper point, because that toe right to the liver is nasty. It just sucks for Nathan Fletcher because, like, you know, you get hit with a shot like that, like there's nothing you can do. You can see it took him a second, or Nakamura went to like throw a couple strikes that didn't really land. But once that liver shot hits like that, like you're going down. Like there's not much you can do about that. Very, very beautifully timed. Very, very well executed from Nakamura. And he's like, oh, I didn't think much. I just like threw the left body kick. But you could tell that that was well practiced and well timed. Like the way he landed it with the toes like that, perfect spot, perfect placement, perfect timing. Very, very well thrown strike. So really, really sick, I guess, KO from Randy Nakamura. And let's be honest, like all these fights have been, you know, half decent. Like the last couple, well, no, Treschungor fight was balls. Andre Puliev one was good. Bashie's was a quick win. Esteban's one was okay. First girls fight was balls. Danny Silva versus Kevin Vallejos. The next couple fights were really good. Danny Silva versus Kevin Vallejos was a really sick fight. I don't know why it's not loading here. But for the most part, I mean, we all had Kevin Vallejos to win, like, by however he wanted, pretty much. But Danny Silva's actually, like, he's very, very talented, and he's a really good fighter. He was a little bit outgunned in this fight against Kevin Vallejos, and just out-disciplined, I think, for the most part. Like, one of the things that Kevin Vallejos did to win this fight was he was just a more disciplined fighter. Kevin Vallejos, you know, he throws harder than Danny Silva. He's got a little bit more, like, you know, plotty forward pressure, kind of like Anilia style boxing, where like he walks into range and then he's ready to counter and throw big shots with power. You have to respect everything he's throwing because he's throwing hard. And again, Danny Silva fights a little bit more like a Max Holloway or somebody, where he's a little bit taller for the division. He's at range, and he's got really good head movement. He's got really good stance switching. He's got really good variety in his strikes, and he throws pretty high volume. And it was a close fight, but what Danny Silva did that kind of ruined this fight for him was he just, instead of just doing more output, he kind of got stuck in like this mindset of like showboating a bit and putting on a show and like making Kevin Vallejos miss and doing really sick head movement stuff. He actually looked really good. Like his head movement, like he was like dodging like half of Kevin Vallejos' shots. He was like putting his head out there and just like, he was rolling with a lot of the shots Kevin Vallejos threw, especially in the second and third round. Although Kevin Vallejos did land some big shots, but Danny Silva did some really sick stuff in there. And it was really entertaining to watch, but it was like, also at the same time, it was like, brother, like, you're down on the scorecards here because you're not throwing enough. Like, you could easily, I think Danny Silva could have easily thrown 2 to 3 strikes for every one of Kevin Vallejos in this fight, and maybe won it based on points, because he's got a really good chin. He was able to roll with a lot of Kevin Vallejos' shots, and Kevin Vallejos, because he throws so hard, he gets tired of it, right? And we saw that's when like Danny Silva would, like, you know, be able to put it on him a bit. Kevin Vallejos would throw a really big combo, then he kind of waits for a second, then throw a really, really hard, really big combo. And they're good combos, but, you know, you kind of like one big burst, stop for a little bit, follow you around, one big burst, stop for a little bit, follow you around kind of vibe. And Danny Silva could have capitalized on that, and he just kind of got stuck in like making it an entertaining fight and like showboating and, you know, doing all the head movement stuff. And if that was getting you points to win a fight, by all means, dude, like, you would have won that fight. Like, he was like dodging 90% of Kevin Vallejos' strikes, like at that one part with like really, really good head movement, looks like, you know, blocking them, looking super slick. But just dodging punches isn't winning you a fight. Like, it's not winning you a fight. So he just needed to throw more. I think he's going to go back, watch this fight, and be a little bit like disappointed on the fact that, you know, he probably could have got out of there with a decision against Kevin Vallejos, which is a huge win. You know, whether or not he does get a decision against Kevin Vallejos would be very hard. Still a hard fight, but he had a chance, I think, if he threw way more output and just stayed more disciplined. So, yeah, Kevin Vallejos won. I mean, he pretty much won all the rounds, but, like, you know, it was still a very competitive fight, and Danny Silva looked really good, and he's an entertaining fighter. Oh, pineapple. Damn, that's good. Alright. Up next, we got ASMR for you guys. Up next, we got Neobagny versus Aleski. Aleski Dalsentos. I had such a hard time pronouncing this guy's name in the predictions as well. Neobagny did not look super good in the first round. I mean, Aleski Dalsentos kind of just did whatever he wanted to. Neobagny in the first round. Neobagny comes back, gets a takedown, second round. Brother, ground and pound. Neobagny dub. I said I wanted Neobagny to win because I wanted this fraud checking Neobagny like saga to continue, and it's continuing, man. Neobagny still got it for 39, still winning fights, still looking good doing it. So good on Neobagny, man. He's the ultimate gatekeeper of this weight division. He's very well rounded, and he does fight well. For the most part, he finds a way to finish fights, and he makes pretty good decisions in there. So definitely outclassed the first round. Came back in the second round and just put it on him. And he's good at the grappling. He's good on the ground for sure. And the one thing he does when he's on the ground is he's looking to cause damage as well. So good fight from Neobagny. Good win from Neobagny. Nakamura versus Carla Rosa. I barely watched this fight. Yeah, it was not the most entertaining fight. Basically, Carla Rosa was somehow better than Nakamura in the striking, even though Nakamura's striking is supposed to be way better, and she was also better in the grappling. I think it was like 30-27 or something like that. Again, like I said, didn't watch that fight too much. Up next, we got Elvis Brenner versus Esteban Ribovics. This is probably one of the best fights of the night. Although the MyTech Oral fight versus Mateus or Chris Duncan. Oh no, Mateus Rebecki. Oh my God. Versus Chris Duncan was a really, really good fight too. This fight I think had a little bit more skill level than the next fight, but either way, I digress. Elvis Brenner versus Esteban Ribovics. Esteban Ribovics, literally every fight he's in is an absolute banger. He's very talented. He's got very good striking combos. He kind of strikes a little bit like Kevin Vallejos, where he's like, he's putting together really hard, big combos. But he's got a lot more output and maybe like a little bit less technical, but he has really good variety in his strikes. They're a really good fighter. He has crazy output for like 3 rounds, like crazy output. He looked really good against Elvis Brenner. First round, he kind of just dominated Elvis Brenner for the most part, but Elvis Brenner's super tough, and still considerably quite good. So he's still landing on Esteban Ribovics quite a bit and causing some damage. But for the most part, Esteban Ribovics would just land way harder shots, and then you get hit with 2 or 3 really hard shots. Second round, Elvis Brenner did a lot better. I still give it to Ribovics, but Elvis Brenner did a lot better. Ribovics is really good, man, and he puts on really exciting fights. Both of these guys are not going to have a long career doing this, every single fight, but it's very entertaining. Third round, Esteban Ribovics was putting it on Elvis Brenner again, but they're going back and forth because Elvis Brenner literally can't be KO'd. I think it's impossible. And he throws hard. Elvis Brenner, when he lands, he's got power for sure. And Esteban was getting hit with some big shots. I think Esteban, I think we all noticed this, but every time he would throw kicks in his combinations, he was always landing clean on Elvis Brenner to the head, but he just didn't throw a lot of kicks. When it was he would do these big boxing combinations, 4, 5, 6 shots, and then throw a kick up at the end, and it would always land. And I think if he did that a little bit more, he would have had more success. Very few leg kicks from Esteban Ribovics in this fight. Same with Elvis Brenner. It was basically just a boxing war, and it was a very entertaining fight. Esteban Ribovics gets it done. Great fight. Ribovics, I don't know how you want to say it, but I think that was right. Anyways, I want to see him fight again, dude. That was crazy. He's got some crazy fights under his belt. It was so funny too because we had what was it? What was the fight where they were asking for fight of the night? Maybe the Kevin Vallejos. Yeah, Kevin Vallejos was like, I'm gonna get fight of the night, and then these 2 bangers come up. So Chris Duncan versus Mateus Rebecki. Mateus Rebecki, I thought, won the first round. I thought he was crushing Chris Duncan in the first round. I think it was not crushing him, but you look at the scores and he's way up on strikes. But he definitely, in my opinion, won the first round. He got hit with one elbow that made his whole forehead swell up really nasty, and then he got hit with something that cut him just above his eye. Other than that, I think he won the first round for sure. Second and third round were pretty much definitely, I would say for the most part, Chris Duncan. Mateus Rebecki is really good. He's really gritty, but he's very short for the weight class. He fights in an open stance, southpaw, which gives a lot of these long ranger guys a lot of opportunity to hit him without any, repercussion of anything back. Like Chris Duncan in this fight, and other people, when they fight Rebecki, because he is shorter, you could just blast body kicks all day on this dude. You just blast body kicks on him. And Chris Duncan was either staying out of range, or whenever he would step into range with Mateus Rebecki, or Mateus Rebecki would pressure him, he would commit to going fully into range, and he would look for big elbows in that open stance. And those elbows are really what changed the fight, I think. Those are the big shots that caused a lot of damage on Rebecki, really early in the fight, and slowed him down. And also just from a visual stance, his face was mangled all 3 rounds, which I think definitely helped Chris Duncan. And just the thud on these shots that Chris Duncan was landing with the elbows and everything else, they were big ass shots, man. So really, really good fight from Chris Duncan. Mateus Rebecki's, his boxing's good, his striking's good. He has a hard time closing the distance, as he will, being this short of a fighter. And after that first round, his technique, his hands were at his waist, which again is probably just gassed, but his hands were super low, and he wasn't doing a really good job of cutting off the cage or finding ways to close distance on Chris Duncan without getting hit with a lot of clean shots first. Ilya, when you look at somebody who's shorter that fights like that, trying to close distance, first of all, not always open stance for him, but he's kind of cutting off the cage. He's looking for shots. He has always got a high guard, and he's countering really you hit him with something, he's coming back with a counter, and he's landing hard. Mateus Rebecki was kind of trying to, which is fine to go first, by all means, but he was kind of lunging into the range, just kind of without setups, and he was just trying to lunge across the void, as DJ calls it, instead of trying to kind of walk across it, cut off the cage, kind of stalk them down and then throw. He was just trying to get into a fight right away and just lunge across, and he hit a lot of big shots because of that. But Chris Duncan looked really good, man. He's just really, really, really gritty. He's not bad technique-wise. He's actually not that bad, but he's really gritty. He got hit with some really big shots, and he hit Mateus Rebecki with some really big shots. One thing that Chris Duncan did well in this fight is he used the open stance very well, and when he was landing on Rebecki, he was always trying to choose shots that would cause damage, whether it was a knee, elbows, or these big body kicks. He was looking for things that would cause damage. So, great win for Chris Duncan. We got the last fight of the night. Not too much to talk about in this one, because Tyra looked actually amazing. He just came out there and just stunned Junction Park with a big right or straight down the pipe, and then another straight, again dropped him. And Tyra's grappling is really good, man. He's a hard guy to beat. He's got 25 million abs. Actually, it's crazy. He's a hard guy to beat, man. His grappling is super good, and he's gonna get to your back, and it's a question of whether you can get out or defend from there on. But he's gonna get to your back, and he's gonna give you problems, and that's basically what happened. I mean, he hit Junction Park with a good shot at the beginning of the fight. We thought Junction Park would have a little bit of advantage in the striking, just because he's floored a lot of people. Maybe if the fight went longer, we would have seen a bit more advantage in the striking, but I don't think so. I think Tyra's striking is as good as Junction Park's. His grappling is way better. When he shot a beautiful blast double leg, took him down, immediately hopped in the back, and got the submission incredibly easy, actually. Which, he's just that good. He lost his last fight to Brandon Royval via split decision, but I always say Brandon Royval I think is one of the best fighters in this weight class, if not the best. I know, Pantoja is technically better. Some people have beat Brandon Royval for sure, but I think he's one of the better fighters for sure. Tetsuya tires are going to be a problem for. Girlfriend's gotta go to the bathroom. But Tetsuya Tyra's a problem for for Pantoja, I think. And I think he has a chance of winning this fight. Anyways, that's our video, guys. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Deuces.